going on? Matt Malatesta here, back for the next weekly installment of the Greg Cranfill Show. St. Pius coach, we're on the campus of St. Pius. We had a really good time out there for our countdown to kickoff. Man, a good vibe out there. Got to talk to all the kind of heavy hitters inside of St. Pius. Great people. Let's talk about the game. Y'all played Antonian. They're a power in taps, of course. Just kind of walk us through. Y'all came away with the L, but, just talk about, what y'all took away from that game.
Sure.
Leading into this week.
Yeah, first of all, thanks so much to VYPE and everything that you guys do. I mean, that's you take a pretty cool environment in which is Friday night football and then up the ante. And I think everybody around the Houston area knows what a great job you guys do, and we appreciate the fact of what you do for our kids because it doesn't get overlooked, man. It's a big deal, I promise you. And those kids are going to VYPE and doing all those things just because of the coverage that you give to us, but not only just us, all of high school sports around the area. And it's a big deal, man. And I just want you to know that people notice that and people appreciate what you guys do.
Hey, well, we appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Well, back to the game. Yeah, so going into it, I mean, you and I had talked off camera that we knew that they were a tough opponent. And we were going to have to play pretty much error-free the entire night in order to keep them off balance. They've got a solid defense and a solid offense. And, we showed at times what we were capable of doing. But then, again, it's a four-quarter game, and you've got to do it more times than they do in four solid quarters. And they hats off to them. I mean, they outplayed us, so I think you saw that our kids never quit. Our kids are always going to fight. And that's the thing that we're going to build on is the fact of what are we getting, like you said, what are we getting out of this? For us, I told you pregame, there are no moral victories. But when you see those kids that are still in the fight late in the fourth quarter, you're making a difference in their life. Because it's a lesson they're going to teach their sons and their daughters, and that's very prideful for me in order to know that our coaches and our administrators and staff here at St. Pius have instilled that type of thing into their hearts as well as their parents. And it starts with their parents. We've got an amazing parent group that's very supportive, that would do anything for these kids, and I remind our kids on a constant basis. Please go hug your parents' neck and tell them how much you love them, because they prove every day how much they care and love about you. So
that's a great point. So it doesn't get any easier. Here comes crosstown rival St. Thomas. What do you see, watching the film? I know it's kind of early in the week, but what do you see that they do well? What will be the keys to the game?
Right. So it all starts for them, to me, with their running back. And offensive line play. It's probably the best that we've seen in the 3 years that we've been here. And they've had some good ones in the past, but these guys, from an execution standpoint, are doing exactly what they need to do in protecting their quarterback and then creating holes. And for him, he doesn't need a big hole because he is one of those true Division I power backs that are going to take this much space and create that much room. And he's got the capability. Plus, he's got breakaway speed, and the fact that if he gets in second or third level, it's a foot race. So, we've got our hands full. It's one of those games that we're going to have to be creative. We can't sit in the same look, doing the same thing over and over, and hope that we can out-scheme them. What we're going to try to do is put guys in position to make plays. So, we're excited about the opportunity. Defensively, for me, it starts with their linebackers, and they've got some of the best linebackers in not only just the Houston area, but around, and a secondary and a defensive line to go with it. So, coaches do a great job over there, and hats off to them for being where they are. But we're gonna put our hat in the ring and see what happens.
What I really get fascinated about with, just watching high school football and college football and just what is it like at halftime? I mean, for me, I'm thinking in my mind, it's complete chaos, but it's really not like that. You're just talking with coaches. It's all about adjustments at halftime.
Sure.
In game is great, but halftime is really where it kind of all happens. Just, walk the listeners and viewers. What is it like at halftime when you might be down or you might be way up, and adjustments y'all try to make on the fly?
Yeah. So, I mean, you're exactly right. We go basically Saturday through Friday at game time, watching video, breaking tendencies down to see what we anticipate them doing. And then we put a script together offensively starting out the game to see, are they aligning to each formation the way that we anticipated on them. And then we've got a couple of coaches watching the front, a couple of coaches watching the back end, just to make sure that we've got all of our notes taken so that at halftime, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to go over that and say, it happens on a constant basis. In between series, we're always doing that. I've got our offensive staff would communicate, because I'll flip over to the defensive side, but our offensive staff is communicating and putting scripts together, game planning, what we're anticipating doing the next series, and then a conversation or two at halftime. And then it all starts with personnel for us. Once we get to halftime, are there any personnel changes that we need to make? If not, then it goes into a schematic process where we meet with the coaches, then they disperse and they're meeting with their individual groups and talking about the things that we talk about. Defensively, it's very, very similar in the fact of, these are the things that we think they're going to do to us. Are they blocking inside zone the way that we thought they were going to? Are they running their RPO systems to the side that we thought they were going to? And the list, the checklist that we have at halftime, we just go right down it and make any adjustments that we have to. We felt like at halftime last week that we had played a 4D secondary to Antonian to keep everything in front of us, and we did exactly what we had planned on. The fact of Antonian's got some good players too, and they were catching the ball in front of us and then making us miss was causing the problems. But when we were sitting there, we were going, okay, you can't change schematics because it's still the same situation. We've got to be able to tackle those athletes in space. And that's what we did. We just told our kids, you're doing where you're supposed to be. Now go out and do a better job of putting them on the ground. Tie their shoelaces together for all week here. Just find a way to get them on the ground. And I think if you go back and look at the video, that's exactly what happened. Game plan wise, we tried to keep everything in front of us. And I think they completed 2 balls over 10 yards against us. But they still threw for over 250 yards because they were throwing it underneath, and then we weren't able to make the play. But it is what it is. It's a pick your poison type of deal with great teams. And I think Antonian proved that they're one of the elite teams in Division I. So,
and finally, you talked about it earlier, parents. How they can be your biggest advocates and really kind of help coach a little bit at home just with what they do at home.
Sure.
How do you nurture that relationship between coach and parent and maintaining expectations, et cetera? Sure. Being a parent of kids that play sport, I know the whole game, but just talk about real quick how that open line of communication works for y'all.
Right, and I think it starts obviously, from the day that we got here, in the fact that I told every parent that we were going to be very transparent with any decision that we made. It's not going to be a situation that you're coming to watch your sons play. We want you involved in knowing what's going on. So I hope that they feel that there's a sense of belonging, not just for their kids, but for the parents. And that's on them. If they want more, then we allow them more. Our practices aren't closed. So we've got a couple of parents that come to practices, and I encourage that because I want them to see what a great job our coaches are doing of coaching, the specifics and the details that have to go into a winning championship program, as opposed to sitting at home wondering if that's happening. Right. I want them there in the stands, and I encourage them to be there, and we have parents that are there. So I think just that open door philosophy of, if you want to go watch video with Coach Cranfill, then by all means ask for a meeting, and he'll sit there and watch video. You know, we video every practice, every game, obviously, and our decisions are based on how they act in that locker room, how they act in that classroom, and how they perform on that field. And all three of those we're very transparent with, and allow those parents to know what the expectation is.
Well, I love talking X's and O's, but I love to talk about really, you know, the role of y'all's, the coaching is just so much bigger, especially as a head coach. It's so holistic that you're doing so many other things, so many moving parts going on. And I love to hear about anecdotal stories about how that works.
Right.
And people love to know the inside. Everybody wants to know the inside scoop, or the, you know, behind the scenes of what's happening. So
Sure.
You really do a good job of it, kind of explaining that also. But
yeah, and I think, Matt, the thing is too, you know, I've been doing this for 25 years.
Right.
And I've been around coaches that go, I'm not talking about playing time with parents, and I'm not talking about personnel decisions with publics and
Right.
with parents. And my question is always, why not? Why wouldn't you? Because I'm not hiding why I'm making these decisions. We're not going every Monday morning and going, who's going to play quarterback for us?
Right.
And who's going to play running back for us? You know, the decisions that we make are based on those things that we were talking about. And if a parent or anybody wants to know, I always tell them, thank you for coming up and hearing the other side of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, I mean, you're a parent. We as parents get one side of the story.
Right.
Brady, how'd practice go? Fine. What'd y'all do? Just drills. Well, what did coach say? Nothing. Okay. You know, I mean, it's a whole lot more than that.
Yeah.
And we want our kids to be able to go home and have those conversations with their parents. A lot of the drawback of having those conversations is because kids are fearful of what a parent might say to them.
Right.
For fear of disappointing their parents. I mean, and that's the truth. So if you get that conversation where you're not getting those answers, I do it as a dad all the time. Why is Brady why is he not divulging every part? Is he embarrassed? Is he afraid that I'm going to be disappointed in him? And I keep telling him, son, what you do in between those lines on that football field does not judge what type of man you are.
Right.
How you handle those type of situations absolutely will determine what type of man you will be. And I think that's the message for everyone. You miss a tackle, you drop a ball, you catch a touchdown, you make a big hit. That doesn't mean that you're going to be successful. But how you handle each one of those situations can help you to build and be a better man. And that's what we hope we're doing here.
Well, y'all are doing a great job of it. Good luck this week against St. Thomas. This is Coach Greg Cranfill at St. Pius X, one of the best in the business, and breaking down games, but also breaking down kids and coaching and how this whole big soup comes together.
Yeah.
Good luck this week.
Thanks, brother.
And we'll talk next week, and hopefully we got a win over St. Thomas.
Yes, sir. Go Panthers.